All right. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever this day may find you. I'm Paul Trani, and I'm going to be diving into today's daily creative challenge. Sorry about my hair is a little messy. So unlike me, but I'm so glad you guys are here. Feel free to say hello in chat. I see Annika here. Hey, Annika. Stony, Frank, Rob, Michelle, audio and video are good. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Frank's in the house. Frank's been doing some great work on Instagram. So it's good to see everyone. Sorry about that part. That's going to be annoying me the whole time. But again, it's not about me. It's about you guys and this daily creative challenge, which is going to be a lot of fun dealing with my favorite subject, which is nature. So make sure you're kind of jumping into Discord. You can see right here, the URL right above me. And that's where you can kind of get the challenges directly to your desktop and also submit them as well. So let's take a look as we switch over. You can see here I am. Photoshop Discord, Creative Challenge. That's where you're going to grab the file. That's the stream you're currently watching right here. And then here's the page that is right behind Discord. Then you can jump over to... let me get my bearings straight. There we go. Challenge. There we are. And you can see all the challenges that people have been submitting right in here. So we did gradients yesterday, which were updated, so that's fun. And yeah, how do you work on images with that rotating ambient light color? It would drive me crazy. Yeah, it's in the background now. In the earlier stream, I had it on my face, and yesterday I had it on my face too for the gradient stream. And yes, you're exactly right. It does get kind of annoying, but I'm glad you're here. So again, we can see all of these. We even have Stony Braswell doing some animation as well, sort of changing up the background, which is super cool. So today's challenge is all about, as you can see right here, and again, you can find the file here, type in textures, so click get started. You can grab that file, which happens to already be on my desktop. Nature is art. What do you even mean by that? Nature is art. Yeah, so that's the thing, like nature is art? What do you mean? This segment brought to you by maple bourbon coffee from Target. All right. So we really have not really gotten into really kind of getting our head around the layers panel. I mean, we have, but we're going to take it to the next level today, right? So first off, notice the layers panel has a bunch of images in it. So we have layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, right? We have this text layer, and then we have these additional layers that have content on them as well. So you have a lot to work with, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's all going to center around this type. Nature is art, okay? So kind of click through some of these. First thing I want to do is maybe pick a font. So again, this is all about type and textures. Let's actually pick this one and jump in and change that font. So again, we can change it to anything that we want. You can see sort of all the classes. I probably want to keep with a sans serif. But in here, you can kind of pick the font that you want, just kind of like roll through and find something nice. Okay. Thing is I'm really going to manipulate this type a lot. So I don't want my initial font to be too distracting. Okay, because I'm going to add all the bells and whistles to it. I personally I love Fat Frank, right? Again, I don't mean to offend Frank. That's the name of the font. Fat Frank is awesome, just so you know. But also you can grab all the fonts you want by clicking right here. Bingo, shabango. We'll jump out. And this is what I love. Rather than sorting by serif and sans serif, out here on fonts.adobe.com, I have all these other tags that I get to view. So scrolling down, we can kind of take a look. We could have as much fun with this as we want. So we could jump into, say, cursive fonts, for instance. This charcuterie. Hey, why not? viewing that family, it gives you recommendations, so fonts that are similar to the one you're currently looking at. And again, from there, I can activate that font. Oh, shoot, I got to sign in. That happens. Wait for it. Gotta make sure I'm in. Yep. Okay, good. Wait for it. Boy, I thought I was logged in, showed me as logged in, and then not so much. So, anyways, log in, grab the fonts that you want. By the way, we also have auto font activation. So if I send you this file, and if you opened this file, quite frankly, and you didn't have the initial font, it would actually sync that font to your desktop. That happens for Photoshop and Illustrator now. And if I was viewing this on the iPad, it will sync that Photoshop font as well. Okay, I like this one, nice and wompy font. So I'll usually keep that one, but boom, create that backup. I'm syncing the other one that was, by the way, you have to turn off, make sure you turn off this or change it to all classes to find the font you're looking for, the charcuterie font, like so. First off, you might run into this, and I kind of threw this in there just to mess with you guys. I'm gonna mess with Sean. Sean, did you notice I changed my shirt? So anyway, but check this out. You're like, wait, this isn't all. Why am I typing in lowercase, but it appears as if it's in caps? Well, if we take a look right over here, we can see our type options. This might be nested away, so go ahead and click right there, and you can see we've turned off the all caps. Yes, you can have two different versions of Photoshop installed on the same machine. I kind of that's a smart move if you're, like, I do it all the time just to compare since I'm showing new features. I have the old version and the new version, but you can definitely install multiples. Oh, you lost that bet? Oh, Sean, I changed shirts for you. I saw your comment, and then I went and changed shirts. Okay, so from here, you can play with, say, the leading, for instance. We could drop this down. That's 482. Man, that's a large font. So we'll do 300, right? Again, manipulating this like so. You get the idea. All right, so we know how fonts work. That's fine. I like the big Fat Frank font. Ba-boom. Right? And I want to format this correctly and all that stuff. But really what I want to do is I want to put this text, or excuse me, this image inside of this text. I did this yesterday, but just to recap, right in here, we want to go ahead and put that image inside of there. Hold down the Option key, click, and then it clips it, and that's our layer mask, like so. But we're going to take this to the next level. Okay, Biola, did you win the bet? Oh, shoot. Oh, there we go. So sorry. So sorry. Okay, I see you now. That's what happens. Sorry about that. You should be good. So this is what I was doing. So sorry. Boy, that has not happened in a while. Wow. Okay, so sorry about that. What I basically did is right in here, this was set to all caps. So this little button was turned on. So I just turned that off, and there it is. Cool. It could be anything. All right. Hopefully I explained it well enough that even though you didn't see it, you kind of got what I was talking about. I'm so embarrassed. Okay, but we're back here now. I'm totally embarrassed, right? And just to rewind, I showed this yesterday. Here's our two layers. Chat was yelling at me. What a fun day. Selecting this, I'll just hold down the Option key, and that's gonna make that a clipping mask. Boom. Shaboom. Right, so there, that picture is now inside of that text. And this is already looking pretty good. Like, I'm kind of into it. So this is what I want to do to take to the next level. Because, like, I actually want this on, like, I want these two lines to be two different text layers. Okay, so I'll come in here, I'll cut this, right? Because I find this is easier. It's easier to work this way. It's easier to work. Let's take this off, turn that off. It's easier to just kind of manipulate these two lines separately. So that's why I have two different text layers. So that's what I have going on here. I could still select them both and scale them up, but they're two separate lines. Okay? But watch what happens when I do that clipping mask again. Shaboom, right? It's only going to get this one nature word. Okay? So do I have to like duplicate? I'll see people who do this, like duplicate this layer, Command J, and they'll bring it down here. It's like, no, you have two of the same things. That's not necessary, right? It still works just fine, but those are two separate layers, right? We can be more efficient with it. So let's turn that off. Let's turn that off. And at this point, we're going to put both of these into a new layer group. So we'll right click or Command G. Let's see if I'm used to saying Command G all the time. Command G will group them. That's why I find it hard to find it some places, because I'm like, well, I just always do Command G. All right, group them together. Boom. They're in one folder now. Twirl that down. But now, since they're in that folder, I can say, take this image and then clip it to that folder. Done. Okay, so now we have that one image, and anything I put in here is going to be masked. This image is going to mask it out. Hello, Andreas. Okay, cool. So, let's do this now, because we could now add more fun elements to this as well, because I have this lovely leaf, right? I'm going to duplicate this layer for one. We talked about this the other day, sort of, this is what I would do. I just want to knock out the background, open up the properties panel, remove background. Shablamo. There it is, right? Now I can take this layer and I can put it inside of that folder. Putting it inside of that folder gives me this nice little element that I can play with. And now I can put that on the tip of the R, for instance. And also what I would do is I'd convert this to a smart object. Right? Convert that to a smart object, protect it. It allows me to scale it down, scale it up, and it's not going to hurt the resolution. Command J to jump. And again, I could take this, put this over here, like so. You get the idea, right? Kind of moving this around, decorating it, getting all kinds of fancy. Let me know if you guys have questions other than the quality setting on the player options, but let me know. So that's all I'm doing. The cool thing is I can say, you know what, this might look good. Do I want to try this image in the background? Boom, that looks great. What if I flip it around? What if we put this one in the background and we clip this one to the folder, right? So easy to do, and we still have that flexibility. I'm really into this too, because I feel like the text pops a little bit more. I don't know what you guys think, but there it is. Yeah, a little play on this. You know, it's kind of growing. It's awfully fun, right? Now, I always like to add an element of advancedness. I don't know, a little pro tip. Because yes, I could take this and you could call it a day. Just export out a JPEG and post it, because even now that looks pretty darn good. Kick it out and then post it to Discord for review. Oh, look at this. Who's messing with me? Frank, you being ridiculous. But there that is. Fun thing we can do, and again, this is an advanced thing. I always like to kind of throw something in for people who've been here a while. We can create a video timeline, right? And from here, what you could actually do is all this stuff can be animated. So this will be fun for these leaves, which are actually just called layer 1. We could move them. So right in here, transform. Move this down, and then watch. We could have it kind of grow out of there. So feel free to play with the video timeline. From there, you actually don't want to export a JPEG. You want to render that video. So again, another just like fun idea. And the great thing is like once this is set up, I don't know, it's just fun to play with. That's all I have to say, because I think sort of moving forward as a designer, you need to be like multidisciplined with animation, with 3D, with photography. Like, know as much as you can is the idea. Right, move that in, and now we have, let's take this one, move that there. There we go. They're all kind of roughly growing, and you get the idea. Cool. Cool. Let's move on. There we go. Ooh, that's a great question there as well. What do type options such as FI, etc. do? The ones beneath that. Okay, that's a great question. So let's select some text and we'll talk about that. So we'll go in here. Let's take something more with a little bit more flavor in it, shall we? Turn that off. I gotta find a font, but it's usually gonna be the you know, we'll just take this word, final, for instance. And it's going to be ligatures that combine these two letters. So let's open up our glyphs panel. Okay, and we could see I have, ooh, this lovely one. What is that font? That is Catalina. Ooh, Kavas. So I have all these fun fonts, but it's when it starts combining those two together, like these are doing. One of them should be a Tiki font, right? So let's do that. Let's select all this. Or we'll select Catalina, but there's certain letters that start to be combined as I scroll down. These two, these advanced ligatures that you can add. So it basically, for any font that where you have this turned on, the FI or the ST, it will consolidate the F and the I, so the I is not touching the F. It will give you that alternate ligature for it. So hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully you get an idea for even these additional glyphs that you can have that are fun to work with. Okay, so we do this. There you go. Boom. So we have these extra ligatures for this font, which is called Catalina. And now we all of a sudden, again, just have this cool interplay of the letters based on that font. Oh, soft serve serifs? Is that what you call them, Shelly? What is that? Does that mean rounded, like rounded corners? Because I like that. So turn that back on, right? The cool thing is we can change that text all we want, and then we have the ability to, you know, adjust all these properties without an issue. So again, Earth. Maybe you like this one better. I don't know. So many options. Right, number 2. Export that out as a JPEG. Cool. Cool. Let's take this type 2. So we've done 2 designs within our time, and we have still 7 minutes left. So this is great. Okay, cool. Let's also talk about adjustment layers as well. Okay. Because again, kind of staying true to this type in textures, layer styles, we used clipping masks. We could use regular masks, but let's dive into layer styles right in here. Okay, so layer styles. This might still need a little bit of punch, or it's cases where you need to kind of like, I don't know, you need to, you know, just typically kind of separate it from the background. I personally love this flat look, but layer styles are hidden. They're kind of hidden right over here. So if you just do a double click, now you have the layer style for this entire group, for all that text. So as we take a look over here, it's like, yeah, let's go ahead and throw a bevel and emboss. We'll click right there. It gives it a bevel and emboss. And let's increase this as much as possible, but it's actually adding it. And let's make the size larger. Again, this typically, you see it? crank up the opacity. There we go. So again, it keeps your last settings, but now we can see that bevel right there. So see the bevel, we can kind of adjust the angle, right? The cool thing about this is I did this on, as I click OK, I did this on a layer group, and we'll call that Earth. So it applies that effect. It does exactly what we want to. So there's no trick or hack that you need to do that you can only find on Adobe Live. It's literally like right here and gets applied to everything appropriately. Because you would think maybe this would overlay the effect, and it doesn't, right? So again, we have that lovely bevel and emboss if you're into that sort of thing. Okay. Cool. All right, just checking for any questions. Also, right down here, I added this bevel and emboss. I can add a drop shadow. Okay, so I can add this drop shadow. I'm kind of breaking away a little bit from the style of this, but let's increase the opacity and the distance. So there's this. See that? We have that nice bevel like so. In fact, I kind of want to make a new version that's much cleaner. That's what I'm going to do. New version. Let's get rid of that clipping mask. It's a lot of vibrating going on, but we definitely see it now. So let's go in here. Check this out right down here. We added our drop shadow, and guess what? Right here, you can add more. So for some, not for all of these, but you can add additional, say, drop shadow. So I added a second drop shadow. The second drop shadow is going to be pink, because you guys know me, and that's what I do. Throw a little pink in there, and we can offset that a little bit more, right? We can do that again. Boom, add another one, right? This is our third one, which is going to dip more into the purple or something, right? And again, let's offset that distance. Right? And we start to get this lovely like layered effect, which is actually pretty cool. What else? Oh, yellow. We need to bounce into like a gold. Increase the distance. And you get the idea. Cool. So again, just a new way of using some of these tools to create this lovely work, right? So I think it's kind of neat. Again, a different style, and that's okay. All right. They should add lens flares. So here's an issue, and this is something I'd ask you guys. Like, how do you get rid of the color on these? Like, what if I wanted everything to be white? Well, all you need to do is throw, excuse me, a color overlay over everything. So you don't need to delete or make those white. Just do something like that, right? And there we have our lovely Earth. And I would do something entirely different with the background as well. Since we learned about gradients the other day, I would throw some gradients in there. Yeah, Highlander 3, the thickening. All right. There we go. Something like that. Brand new design that we can work with. And what's cool, so you end up doing all of this work, adding all these drop shadows, just having a lot of fun, to be honest with you. From there, we can go to styles. Oh, look at how many styles are in here. Let's get rid of those. And just add this as a style. And we'll call this, color banding. Boom. There it is, down there at the bottom. So again, I only create it once, and I can use it as many times as I want. All right? Cool, got our styles all squared away. On that note, let's duplicate this again, and let's try some of these others that I have. I have one that has actually wood, right? Actually, quite a few that are wood. The resolution is pretty high on this piece, but again, just kind of clicking through to gold to these different properties, and you can see what it does. If you take a look over in my properties there we go. In my layers panel, you'll start to see everything change. So there's one with a lot of pattern overlays, so cool. Gold Earth. Cool. Yeah, we can throw some lens flares in there. Those are always fun. But I like kind of making your own. Like, we've done a lot today. Like, we made this cool one. So we'll export that out. We made a total of 3 designs today. So you can just do a number of things. And be mindful, I also gave you this layer. So you could do the same thing I did with this one. You could do with any one of these leaves. So have some fun. You know, make some cool type, create a message maybe that means something to you. Mine currently just says Earth, but hey, Earth is art. It's all the art. It's all art these days. That's what I call it. It's very, you can find inspiration in, of course, in nature. So again, great job. Ajia did a great job. Look at that lush. Oh, come on now. Look at that overlap. Oh, gorgeous. It's the little things. You know, what's that guy doing? But this is the sort of thing I'm talking about, which I absolutely love. So continue to contribute to the challenge section to get your work featured. And you guys got it. Thank you so much. You guys have been great. Discord is right above me. Sorry about the mishap with my screen earlier, but you guys get the idea. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in 4 minutes. Bye.